Hello and welcome to the conversation. You're with India Post Live, and we'll keep bringing you different facets of the political storm that is taking place in 2014. Right now, we're going to discuss a different topic. You know, we've seen various campaigns of various political parties taking place, but there is a political force that is actually doing a campaign, but no one knows about it as far as the social media and the national media is concerned. Yes, we are talking about the Bahujan Samaj Party in Uttar Pradesh. We'll take you through as to what sort of a campaign has actually gone around the BSP. Are they actually there, or is it the end of the road for the BSP? Take a look. They are nowhere to be seen, right from social media to radio jingles and TV advertisements. Does that mean that the Bahujan Samaj Party is fighting a losing battle in these general elections? This very phenomenon has deceived the best of psephologists in the past too. So why should it be any different now, when most of them are busy predicting a landslide win for the BJP in Uttar Pradesh? BJP is hoping to have cornered some of BSP's Dalit vote due to polarization, especially in western UP, where the shadow of Muzaffarnagar riots last year still looms large. But the BSP has also fielded over 18 Muslim candidates in the hope of winning over the minority vote from the Samajwadi Party and the Congress. This definitely puts a confusing picture about the actual might of the elephant in India's most populous state. But the real question is, will the BSP's silent voter be able to tide over the shrill voices heard in these elections? Okay, so the silent voter, and which way is it going to go? To discuss more about this, I have with me senior journalist Bhavdeep Kang on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. I'd like to get straight into the action. BSP, you read about it sometimes in the newspapers that, Behenji has said this and that. But apart from that, the kind of space that, Narendra Modi has taken, where do you actually see the, do you see the BSP's fortunes corresponding to the amount we see it on media?
Not at all. The BSP is not known for pyrotechnics in its campaigns. It typically runs a low-profile campaign. And Mayawati has always preferred to go from village to village. Right? She does hold big sabhas, but she doesn't seek a great deal of media space historically. So I wouldn't correlate the campaign with the BSP's fortunes. If you're asking me whether it's disadvantaged BSP in this election, I think we can take that as a given. Since its peak in 2007, we've seen a gradual decline in the BSP's fortunes.
Okay. So I have with me Sanjeev Singh joining us from Lucknow. Sanjeev, thank you so much for joining us. Sanjeev is also the on the National Executive Committee of the BJP. Sanjeev, the kind of publicity that your party has done over all forms of media, the BSP's elephant seems to have vanished somewhere. Are you doing it on purpose to make sure that, they don't get the votes that they should get?
See, every party, pitches the best foot forward. But the point is, we are getting tremendous response from the voters, and that is the reason why our campaign is, seems to be omnipresent, because it is getting amplified by the response which we get from the voters and supporters.
Okay, the BSP, their vote bank is pretty strong when it comes to Uttar Pradesh, your state. In Western UP, we did hear that, there were some fault lines within the BSP's core vote. But do you think it applies across the state, or was it just a one-off thing that we saw in Western UP?
See, by and large, it applies to whole of UP. You need to understand one thing very clearly, Sanjeev, which is this era of caste and regional politics is steadily coming to an end. See, people have realized over last 20, 25 odd years that the brand of politics which is being indulged in by BSP and SP also isn't paying dividend to the common people or the people whom these parties sought to represent. So those guys, they have seen through the facade, and now slowly but steadily a paradigm shift is happening, which is catapulting parties like BJP to the center stage. So a lot of the voters which today were with SP are slowly coming to us. I'm talking about specifically what you term as the OBC castes or the MBC castes. Similarly, a lot of Dalit voters which were earlier, which used to, prior to emergence of BSP, which used to be with Congress, a segment of those voters are also coming to BJP. This is the reason why we are coming out, in a such strong fashion in Uttar Pradesh.
Okay, Bhavdeep, no, we'll come to that. I mean, as far as development and caste is concerned, you want to ask him a question?
Yes, I would. I mean, as far as the BJP is concerned, they'd love to replace the BSP elephant with a dinosaur. But I don't see that happening in a hurry, because as long as there is identity politics, you will have the BSP. And I don't see that changing in a hurry, not for the next 2 or 3 decades anyway. At least not in the rural areas where people tend to vote as communities, not as individuals. So that was my limited response to what you said about identity politics.
Okay, Sanjeev, identity politics, and it's here to stay. Secondly, you said, BJP is talking about development. Then why does Narendra Modi have to say that, he comes from a Nichi Jat and, flaunt his OBC status?
No, what Narendra Bhai said was in response to something which was said, on him. So that was simply a response to something which was objectionable, which was attributed to him or us. Now, another thing which I like to say is, see what is happening. If you look at the traditional vote bank of BSP, it used to be, traditionally the Dalits. And if you take in some measure, Brahmins went with them in 2007 elections, but all of these segments are slowly realizing that BSP is a party today which is represented just by Mayawati. It's a fiefdom of Mayawati. Nobody else counts. So all traditional senior leaders of BSP, they have slowly left that party. Now another thing which is important is, today BSP is left only with the Jatav votes with it. The other Dalit castes, which were Valmiki, the Nishads, the Pasis, these castes have they have got disenchanted. They are coming to BJP, and traditionally they were they used to vote for the Jansang. So it is natural for them to come to BJP, more so when we hold a lot of promise with regard to uplifting them and also development in general.
Okay, Bhavdeep, as far as the breakup of the Dalit vote is concerned, what Sanjeev is trying to say is that apart from the main Jata vote, he's saying like the Pasis, the Dusads and the Nishads, they seem to be migrating to the BJP. But they've done that in the past also,
They've done that in 2012. I partly agree that yes, the Mayawati's core vote is the Jatavs, 14%, I think, of the entire population of UP. And the remaining is accounted for by Pasis and other castes. Now these castes, even in 2012 assembly elections, did migrate away from the BSP. At that point of time, perhaps they went to the Samajwadi Party.
Yeah.
Right? In 2009, if you look at the Lok Sabha elections, we had a Congress bubble. In 2014, I think we have a BJP bubble. Right? So I wouldn't say that this migration of the vote away from the BSP towards the BJP, if in fact that is what happens, is going to be a permanent phenomenon. It's probably temporary. I mean, look at the politics of UP. In the assembly elections, the politics of UP is bipolar. And with the Samajwadi Party on a weak wicket, obviously the BSP is going to take advantage of that. Right? So unless there is a dramatic recovery in the state of the Congress and the BJP, in future, the politics of UP will continue to be bipolar between the SP and the BSP.
Sanjeev, in the 2012 assembly elections, especially the Pasis, I mean, one could see that, they had switched ranks to the Samajwadi Party. And of course, in 2009, there was this sort of there was no clear picture as to who's fighting whom, and we didn't know what much was happening. So Congress also gained a lot. Samajwadi Party had got Kalyan Singh into the fold, and there were a lot of issues involved. But this time around, the BSP went on, Mayawati went on to say that, you know, if Narendra Modi really cares about the Dalits, you know, then he should tell us his caste. So what is that? Is that the normal aggression you see from Mayawati, or do you think that she is getting the jitters that somewhere down the line her vote bank is, you know, shifting away to the BJP?
The latter part of your statement is true. She is getting jitters, and not only her. You know, every other party is getting jitters, be it Congress, which notched up upwards of 20 seats in 2009, be it SP, again, which notched up upwards of 20 seats, and also BSP. This time around, there is a clear wave across Uttar Pradesh in general, which is in BJP's favor. And most of these castes, parties, they have come to us. The major part of that voter segment is coming to BJP. Similarly, as I said earlier, the other non-Jatav castes are coming to us. And not only that, if you look, if you go to Western Uttar Pradesh, because of things which happened during SP rule in Muzaffarnagar and all, there is a clear-cut shift in Jatav votes also towards BJP. And once they come to us, and with the kind of developmental agenda which we have in store for them having after coming to power at center, we are going to retain this segment of support which we are getting. And this is what I mean by steadily there will be an erosion in the vote banks of these regional and caste-oriented parties, and BJP is going to, get stronger and stronger.
Sanjeev, I agree partly with him. Yes, Mayawati is getting the jitters. She's trying to whip up a fear factor among the Muslims by saying that if Modi comes, we'll have communal riots. She's trying to whip up fear among the Dalits by saying that if he comes, then a reservation will be withdrawn. Yes, she's certainly very clearly nervous about her vote bank. So to that extent, I agree with him. And I also see the BSP and the Congress working in tandem.
Okay. Why do you say that?
See, because they have a common enemy at the moment.
But then,
which is the BJP. So Priyanka says something, Mayawati says something. It's almost as if these statements are coming in tandem.
But then,
and the whole focus is caste, and Modi's take on caste and Modi's own caste.
But Rahul went to the extent of saying that the 1996 alliance between the Congress and the BSP was a historic blunder.
It was a historic blunder, and I don't think these parties will ever come back again. But for the purposes of this election, I think they've realized their common enemy is the BJP. And so the focus of the attack, of Mayawati's attack, of the Congress attack, is the BJP.
Okay, let's talk more about the style of campaigning of the BSP. How does it, do you think it is still relevant in the changing times that we are right now? Or do you think that, the BSP also will have to make some changes to adapt itself to the aspirations of the people slowly?
Okay, now that's very interesting. If there is one party that is truly a party of the digital age, it's the Aam Aadmi Party. Okay, they have adapted beautifully to the social media, to the internet as a whole. BJP has done so to some extent. For the last 5 years, they've had a very active IT cell, and they've been preparing a campaign. They've done very well. The other parties, Congress hasn't adapted.
Yeah, very late off the block.
Very late off the block. They've put a lot of money into it. They've set up a committee. They've produced a report which is now gathering dust. If you remember the Chintan Shivir, Kapil Sibal had asked for 100 crore budget for a social media cell, which of course never materialized. So Congress has not been very quick at adjusting to the new media environment and adopting new technologies, unlike the BJP. The BSP sees no reason why it should, because its core vote, these 14% Jatavs, are not really the kind of people that you're going to reach through the social media. It's more the urban Dalits who are likely to be receptive to this kind of campaign. And certainly, if Mayawati is looking at a future outside of UP, this is something that she's going to have to consider.
Okay.
On the other hand, her vote share in states outside of UP has been seeing a steady decline.
Yeah.
I mean, in the Delhi election, for instance, from 14.5%, she came down to 5%. That's a huge decline over 5 years.
My God. Yeah, in fact, all that vote has gone to the Aam Aadmi Party.
That's true. So in rural areas, certainly the Aam Aadmi Party has adapted to the new technology. It's running its campaign in two ways. The Aam Aadmi Party owns the street and it owns cyberspace.
Yeah. So they've got like, it's actually, the top and right at the lowest, their core vote is the lowest strata, and they are using the technology for the elite.
Precisely.
Yeah, we should be having Venkatesh Ramakrishnan, Associate Editor of the Frontline. I see he's quickly eating something. Hello Venkatesh, thank you for joining us.
Hi.
I hope we didn't disturb your snack.
Well, you're disturbing my lunch actually.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Coming to the point of the BSP, we've seen BJP Sanjeev Singh say that, not just the Pasis and the Dusards and the Nishads, but even the core vote of the BSP, the Jatavs, they seem to be moving towards the BJP this time. How far do you agree with him?
That's not a uniform phenomenon. It is true as far as Western UP is concerned to a large extent. But then I would not say that that's true in other parts. Say beyond Pratapgarh, I don't see that phenomenon. I traveled extensively to Uttar Pradesh this election also. So I don't see this phenomenon beyond Pratapgarh.
But how far, even if that happens, won't you say that it's advantage BJP, or do you think that that the other vote, especially the Pasi and the Nishad vote, that's a floating vote, as Bhavdeep was saying that, in the 2012 elections, that went to the Samajwadi Party. So how much of a profit or gain do you see that accruing to the BJP in this election?
No, certainly the primary beneficiary of all this shifting is BJP, there's no doubt about it. Let us not make any mistake about that. And Mayawati has made the mistake of being silent on the Muzaffarnagar riots also. So, which meant that, even the Muslim vote that normally goes to her is not going in the same proportion as it used to earlier. So, I think, these two factors are there, but even so, the Muslim minorities would still vote for the BSP in constituencies where it is in a position to defeat the BJP. So I think it will be a mixed performance. And on the question that you specifically asked, on the BJP being the primary beneficiary of all this shift, there is no doubt about it.
Okay, that's an interesting thing, Bhavdeep. He's saying that BSP is not the first preference for the Muslims as far as these elections are concerned. And the BSP is given, as you said, 19 Muslims tickets this time. How far would you agree with Venkatesh on this?
I would agree. He's saying that there will be tactical voting, and where they see a strong BSP candidate, they will vote for him / her.
Okay, Venkatesh, also the point that, we've not seen the BSP on the social media or, big advertisements on national media. Their style of campaigning, do you think it's time that, they also adapted to new media, or do you think that her campaign, the way they run the campaign, is good enough as far as UP is concerned?
As far as their core constituency is concerned, I don't think social media has become an important thing yet. But then one needs to also look at the fact that the Muzaffarnagar riots and the accompanying riots in other parts of Western Uttar Pradesh, where, the social media instrument was a very important catalyst. The Bharatiya Janata Party and its associates, they had used social media, including forged videos, including videos which were kind of manipulated to spread the riots, and the communal polarization created by that had impacted the Bahujan Samaj Party cadre as well as its core vote also. So one needs to look at that aspect as well. But then, given the basic structure of the Bahujan Samaj Party and the core constituency of the party, I don't think that it will move into that era at this point of time. But I have been saying something to the BSP leadership repeatedly over the last 1 decade or so. It is that that it is time that the party has a defined ideology and a political plan. The problem is the BSP only talks about capturing power for the Bahujan Samaj, which is an expression for Dalits. But beyond that, it does not have any concrete political plan or ideology. I think the BSP should primarily come up with an ideology, a political plan, and then perhaps think about expanding into the various forms of media.
No, as you said, the slip of the tongue. Do you think the BJP can actually come up with that sort of an ideology to take that vote away from the BSP?
No, no. See, BJP has been trying on this pan-Hindu, creating this pan-Hindu identity. The BJP and its former organizations like Jansangh and even Hindu Mahasabha has been trying since the 1930s to create this pan-Hindu identity which encompasses the entire Hindu communities. It has not worked for the Sangh Parivar or the Hindutva organization so far. But this time around, combining the agenda of development, they seem to have improved a lot. They seem to have gone beyond their original, deficiencies. The deficiencies that they had repeatedly in the 90s, early 2000s and all that. They seem to have gone beyond that. But how far they have gone beyond, I think we need to wait for the results to find out.
Okay, Venkatesh, last question to you. I mean, in Western UP, do you see the core vote of the BSP moving to the BJP because of the Muzaffarnagar riots?
Yeah, it's primarily because of the Muzaffarnagar riots. It's not because of any ideological plan or they are fascinated by the Modi model of development or anything like that. Primarily, it is a intense communal polarization, and all Hindu communities have kind of joined hands to be part of this communal polarization, and the kind of ghettoization of the Muslim community and the kind of rallying around they have done behind Samajwadi Party, that has also contributed to this polarization.
Okay, thanks so much, Venkatesh, for joining us. Carry on with your lunch.
Bye.
So that's an interesting point. I mean, what Venkatesh is saying is the fact that the BSP was silent on the Muzaffarnagar riots.
Exactly.
Do you think that at somewhere down the line that they're paying the price for that now?
Absolutely, absolutely. Both the SP and the BSP will pay the price for the Muzaffarnagar riots. But as for what he was saying about the core vote moving, perhaps we'll see that, but I must stress again that it's probably a temporary phenomenon restricted to this election.
Yeah, even if it's temporary, I mean, it's advantage BJP because...
Definitely, it's advantage BJP. Across Uttar Pradesh, it's advantage BJP. I don't think there's any two opinions about that. But if you're looking at the BSP in the long term, I would say two things. One, if the BSP looks at itself as a national party, then certainly Mayawati is going to have to change and adapt. She's going to have to reach out to upwardly mobile Dalits. Right? Even within the state, Mayawati is going to have to build new caste coalitions.
Yeah.
It's clear that she cannot rely on this 14% Jatav base indefinitely in the future. So she's, as she did in 2007 with the Brahmins, she's going to have to look at new coalitions.
Yeah, we've got Sanjeev back online. Sanjeev, we were discussing social engineering. We also had Venkatesh Ramakrishnan, Associate Editor of the Frontline with us, and he made an important point. He said that, you know, the BSP does not have a roadmap ahead. You know, they've only talked about asserting the Dalit identity, but nothing beyond that. Do you see, I mean, do you see this as an opportunity? Also, the question is, do you see this as an opportunity, and why hasn't the BJP been able to capitalize on this?
See, we are gaining from this. There is no doubt about it. It's not that we have not been able to capitalize on that. Rather, we would like to put it in a somewhat different way, which is we are trying to accommodate and get support from all these segments which were not with us during recent past. And one more thing which you need to understand. It is not only that BSP doesn't have a roadmap for future. They never had any roadmap at all. It was only, exploiting a particular, the feeling of being victimized in a segment of electorate for her own personal, benefit. That was the only thing which BSP or rather Mayawati understands. And as Bhavdev ji was mentioning, her support base across the nation, other than Uttar Pradesh, has continuously eroded over last 5-6 years, and the process has actually started in Uttar Pradesh also. look at a vast segment of her support base coming to BJP. See, you cannot run politics of 2014 and ahead with the same strategies which paid dividends to you in say 1980s or 90s or even up to 2000, 2005, 12. So this is where the awareness level of all segments of voters has gone up tremendously. Media, the new age media, everything has, everybody has played a very critical role in this. Today's electorate from any segment is, extremely wise. He or she can see through, such facade which has been presented by these parties. I have no hesitation in admitting where national parties, lag was in understanding micro aspiration or the local regional issues. We stayed focused on the national issues and somehow ceded space to these regional parties which seem to be espousing the local causes. We have realized that now. We are working very strongly at the local level also. Our candidates, I'll give just an example. We are collecting the three important issues right down to the booth level, and that is being addressed in all the sabhas and rallies which are being addressed by our leaders. So this is where we have.
Okay, I think we've lost Sanjeev. He'll be back with us, but he's making an interesting point. I mean, we've seen even the Congress, the Samajwadi Party, the BJP also in the past try to get this, 14% vote from the BSP, but no one has managed to do it. I mean, is there a formula to it, or how do you see that panning out?
Sanjeev, he gave you the answer. He said that they have failed to understand the aspirations of this community.
Yeah.
And Mayawati has her finger right on their pulse. They are not going to move away from her in a hurry. And typically as a whole, Dalits don't. For the longest time, they were with the Congress. Right? Now they've been with the BSP for the longest time. In Delhi, there has been a bit of a churning, which is why the Dalits moved away from the BSP to the Aam Aadmi Party. Okay?
Exactly.
To that, Mayawati has made a few mistakes. One big mistake perhaps could be that she has not created a secondary and tertiary leadership, which makes it seem, as he said earlier in the program, like a one-horse party.
Yeah.
When she is gone, the party is over. Now, Mayawati has said that she has selected someone, a Jata,
Yeah, there was
as
this
a
whole
successor.
controversy, and
Exactly.
we thought he's from Agra or Western UP.
Exactly. So there is a closed envelope in which the name of her successor is written, and it's to be opened after her death. But that doesn't induce confidence. People need to see a face. People need to know names. You need a go-to person other than Mayawati.
Yeah.
And she's going to have to think very seriously about that if she's in for the long haul. Even Mulayam Singh Yadav, while unfortunately he's taken the dynasty route, but at least he has a second-run leadership.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, there are so many leaders that, we don't know.
It's been a headache for poor Akhilesh. At one point, I believe he said there are 23 chief ministers of UP.
Okay, so we'll, Sanjeev, I'd like to come back to you. Okay, you at this point of time in the elections, the BJP may have run away with the advantage, of the so-called BSP vote coming to the BJP. But what are the plans? I mean, you may win this election, but you may not be able to retain that vote. How do you plan to go about doing that? Because, in the past 20 years, even Atalji went to the extent of saying that BJP and BSP are natural alliance partners. So, he had also conceded defeat. How will the BJP now bridge that gap and try and bring them into the fold?
Right throughout this election, we have employed a clear scientific methodology in trying to, understand and involve, voters at the remotest local level. And this methodology, we are, absolutely confident on using this methodology to bolster our organization structure in Uttar Pradesh, which has over the years, I have no hesitation again in admitting that we did get weakened over last 10 years, but now with the kind of support which we are getting from people, and also our Karkartas are totally they are at the top of their enthusiasm level. So all this combined, we are going to we're not going to rest at all post May 16. We have a definite roadmap, a clear cut plan which we are going to implement immediately after the election, and with a clear view to perform to the best possible extent in next Vidhan Sabha election, with a specific view of replacing this SP BSP this rollover which keeps happening every 5 years. Next time in 2017 or whenever Vidhan Sabha elections happen, it will be BJP government at Uttar Pradesh also.
Okay, so that's a long statement. 2017, Sanjeev says he sees a BJP government. But your final comments on the BSP, and do you think that the BJP can actually come and take over that space?
Look, the one thing that has been different about the BJP campaign this time, and not just in UP but across the country, but let's focus on UP for the moment, has been the deep involvement of the RSS, which has never been so invested in an election as it has been in this one. Okay. Yes. One of their senior people, Krishna Gopalji, has been himself monitoring UP. You have senior pracharaks in every district monitoring the election preparations on virtually a daily basis. They've put a lot of emphasis on booth management, and yes, that is how they've managed to reach voters to the extent that they have. Yeah. Right? That's been a big change. It's not something that we've seen earlier.
But is that enough to take on the might of the elephant for the BJP?
Well, certainly they have other things working for them at the moment. There is, to some extent, the Modi factor. There is the anti-Samajwadi factor, and the backwash of the anti-incumbency against Mayawati is very much still there. So they have certain things working for them, but at the end of the day, on the ground, it has been the RSS cadre, which has spread out across UP and made contact with voters. Having said that, I don't see that being sustained. I can't say how long that will be sustained. Whether that will go on till 2017, we don't know.
Okay, so that's a good ending point for this conversation. Thank you so much, Bhavdeep, for joining us, and Sanjeev, as usual, thank you so much. We hope to see you in more of our conversations. So there you have it. I mean, the BSP is there. It is moving silently. The BJP, of course, has gained advantage in a few regions of Uttar Pradesh. But whether whether BJP can actually keep this advantage going in their favor, that's something that's a million-dollar question. And as Bhavdeep said, we'll have to keep watching, and the 2017 elections is going to be important. We'll actually get to know whether what Sanjeev is saying about the BJP being serious about problems at the booth level, whether BJP will actually be able to address them or not. So on that note, we'll wrap up this conversation. Thank you for watching. You can of course log on to our site indiapostlive.com and use our Twitter handle @indiapostlive.com. More conversations will continue. Thank you for watching.